with 171 points. Well, Leeds will take on the other team from the city of Kingston upon Hull tonight, and this is the way that they line up. Webb is the fullback. They're at full strength, actually. Donald, Smith, Senior, Hall, Maguire and Burrow. Just look at the numbers. Luluai, Diskin, Peacock. There's no Badiris, of course, long-term injury. Jamie Jones, Buchanan, Carl Ablett and Kevin Sinfield, Leeds Player of the Year, is the captain and loose forward. And on the bench, Lautiti, Bailey, Kirk and Simon Worrell. Luke Burgess injured but might be back for the next phase, whenever that comes, for Brian McLennan. Now Rovers, Fitzhenry is at full-back and there's no Sean Briscoe. Fox, Walker, Wellham and Colbon, Cook and Dobson. That's fairly settled apart from the full-back. Up front it's Fozzard, Fisher and Wielden, Newton, Vella, the skipper, and Chaz Ianson. There's no Ben Gallia. And on the bench, Stanley Jean, Jason Netherton, Rhys Lovegrove and Scott Taylor, the young man who is making his debut at the tender age of 18 for coach Justin Morgan. So Hull KR, the adventure really does start here. They are making their playoff debut, one of 4 teams that didn't make it in 2008, who are here in 2009. But the Leeds Rhinos, the first of 9 matches that will eventually produce the champions at Old Trafford on October the 10th. They're ever present in this playoff series, the Rhinos. This is their 13th appearance. And both Leeds and Hull KR, who come into the arena here side by side, provided 4 men apiece in the 2009 Dream Team. So according to selectors, these are the 2 best teams that we have seen in 2009. Rovers supporters have travelled here in numbers. Mind you, Leeds are always here. It's a remarkable achievement for them. 3 years after they got into Super League, they've sampled playoff football before in the past. In 2006, they claimed the National League 1 championship with a win against Widnes in the grand final. They finished 4th in the table this year, but they have looked brittle when the chips are down. Steve Ganson is the referee here this evening. He's the man in the middle as the 2009 Engage Super League playoff series gets underway here at Headingley Carnegie. Leeds will attack as we watch from right to left in this first half. And Kevin Sinfield with a head guard. Remember, Brian McLennan almost ruled him out of the playoffs with an eye socket injury last time we saw them. He's fit enough to play though here, and here's a former Leeds man, Sheb Walker, who drives it in with the first tackle.
Be a big contest, won't it, between Sheb Walker and Keith Senior. This is only the second time that they will have faced each other. Former teammates, of course, when Sheb Walker was playing his trade with the Rhinos. But the big question now, in regards to Hull Kingston Rovers, Justin Morgan, the coach, can he just lift them enough? Can they find that cohesion that's been missing in the last fortnight? Well, we'll soon find out. This Leeds defence looks very solid indeed.
Clint Newton with that drive in. It was Fitzhenry who was dummy half, and here now is Mick Vella for Rovers. That's the last tackle. And it's with Paul Cook. His kicking game will be so important tonight. And remember when Paul Cook really took a game by a scruff of the neck, it was in the Hull derby, and he was magnificent that night. He will have to be equally so here this evening if Rovers are to produce the first shock of this playoff series.
And I think by his own admission, he'd say that he's been particularly quiet at the business end of this very strong season. That's a beautiful long ball out by Senior there.
Ablett is the man who was tackled by Dobson. They're on halfway. Leeds here is Sinfield. That looked a little bit forward to Kylie Luluai.
A lot forward. That should have been picked up by the touch judge on that far side.
This now is Jamie Peacock for the Leeds Rhinos, the incumbent England skipper for the Four Nations, which of course begins when the domestic season finishes with the Old Trafford finale on October the 10th. High kick from Danny Maguire. Underneath it, Fitzhenry. He was safe as houses. They will miss Sean Briscoe, but he's not a bad replacement, Daniel Fitzhenry.
Well, he's pretty solid, that's for sure, and even though he had a bit of a wobble there, surprised that the Leeds coach Brian McLennan opted to put the pressure on Fitzhenry rather than Peter Fox. Now, To me, Peter Fox has got the speed, he's a classy player once he gets ball in hand. The biggest problem is that he's not very good with the hands these days.
This is Mick Vella, 12 starts in a row now for him. He played in the 2001 NRL Grand Final for Parramatta. In fact, there's a bit of Australian Grand Final experience on show for Hull KR tonight. Fitzhenry with the kick down the line is another. He played it on the wing in the 2005 Grand Final for West Tigers.
Good work by the combination, the two halfbacks, Paul Cook and Michael Dobson.
Here's the leading scorer in Super League this year, Ryan Hall. And Rovers were very aware of the threat that he poses then.
You posed a question, Eddie, about Paul Cook. You know, if he really fires, then of course Rovers have got a great chance tonight.
Good defence from Wellham & Co on Lee Smith. He plays the ball to Danny Maguire. Here is Carl Ablett.
That's the difference between the two sides, though. Every time Leeds has had possession, they've got over the halfway line with considerable ease.
Rob Burrow gives it to Peacock. He drives it up the middle, and the support is there from Maguire. That's the last tackle, though, for the Leeds Rhinos.
Good tackle by Newton, needed to be as well.
Sinfield with a high kick towards the corner, looking for Scott Donald. Very well claimed, though, by Peter Fox on that far side.
Well, I think Rovers' only chance of winning here tonight, in my opinion, is getting close to Leeds' try line as often as possible. I don't think they've got the players with the speed to score long-range tries, and Leeds' defence is quite hard to break through. It rests on the number of times they can get within 10 or 15 minutes of metres of Leeds' try line, and then somehow finding a player who can find his way over it.
Strong and solid Leeds defence here on show, just 12 metres away from the Rovers line. Clint Newton now will drive it forward, but that's the last tackle. They're still inside their own quarter here, and players have funneled back. One of them is Scott Donald that Dobson has found with the kick on the bounce, and Donald will respond immediately and leads over the halfway line before the first tackle is completed.
And that just shows you that the Rhinos' defence very solid indeed. They're not allowing the Rovers any room to move. Beautiful hands, but couldn't get to it. Did it go backwards? Yes.
Play on, he says. This is Ryan Hall.
Well, some of the Rovers players, they hung around. They thought it was a knock-on. And Ryan Hall nearly got through the first line of defence.
Peacock is through the first line of defence. Gets a great offload away. Paul Cook is all over the back of Danny Maguire. And with help from Mick Vella, Maguire is brought to ground. Diskin at dummy half. Quick play the ball. Back on the inside to Rob Burrow. And Paul Cook buries the little man on tackle number 4. Here is Maguire again. Maguire fires the pass to Jamie Jones-Buchanan. Jamie Jones trying to skip away from a couple of defenders. Can't do so. That's the last.
Surely a kick to the corner.
It's with Maguire. It goes out wide again. They obviously think Fox is weak in the air. Here is Lee Smith. Brilliant! Brilliant try from Lee Smith. But brilliantly passed inside by the man who climbed above Peter Fox. In actual fact, Peter Fox was allowed the Leeds attacker, Scott Donald, to have that all to himself. And he just flicked the ball back inside, and Lee Smith, on this his 100th Leeds appearance, has rattled up his 48th try now in Leeds colours, and Lee Smith has given Leeds the start that they desire.
Well, it comes as no surprise. We pinpointed this area and showed you the kick. It was a shocking attempt by Peter Fox. Good work by Donald, just get back into the centre. Super kick from Maguire, but where on earth was the winger? That was a gift. Well finished. Well, Justin Morgan will be dumbfounded by that. Peter Fox just held off and far too late, and they have paid the price from this man.
Lee Smith heading off to pastures new in rugby union at the end of the season, whenever it comes, for the Leeds Rhinos. They will miss him. Only 23 years of age, an England international. And Kevin Sinfield now with the opportunity, Super League's top goal kicker this year. But he misses with that one, his first attempt of the night. 4-0 to the Rhinos.
Well, it's all about positioning, I'm afraid, Peter Fox, and you can see quite clearly there. He should have been right underneath it. He had to take 2 steps. It was an easy offload. Smiles all round, and not surprisingly, Justin Morgan and the Rovers, they've got big problems.
Rovers restart then, and I must say, John Keir, Leeds in the opening 7 minutes look in the mood, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's been a pretty ruthless start by the Leeds Rhinos. No errors with ball in hand. They really restricted the yardage from Hull Kingston Rovers, and I think it was that relentless pressure that built up that allowed them to score in the right-hand corner.
Kylie Luluai now for them, under pressure from Fozzard, plays the ball to Diskin. Here is Burrow. Oh, Burrow with those dancing feet of his. Can't get away from Newton, though. Newton got him round the back of the head. Diskin. Peacock taking on Fisher, taking on Wielden. Peacock hanging on. That's the last tackle. Only just over the halfway line, Leeds. And here is Maguire, who gives it to Sinfield. Going wide. They're running it here with Lee Smith. And Smith has got Ablett. Ablett to Maguire, and drops it.
It was a gift. It was wonderful play out there on that right-hand side. Pinpointing through. Oh, Smith. And then back on the inside. He just overrun it slightly, did Maguire. Well, that is a huge let-off for the Rovers. The heads looked down when they were kicking for that conversion after the try from Lee Smith. And that really would have put a huge hole for them to clamber out of.
Well, in fairness to all the neutrals who are watching tonight, maybe a good job that Danny Maguire put that ball down, because that was a scintillating move and it would have been a wonderful try. Here goes Newton meanwhile. Ball goes to ground. Sinfield was chasing it. Fitzhenry got it away. Here is Fozzard. Fozzard spins away from Diskin, can't get away from Ablett. We'll play it here now to Fitzhenry. And Fitzhenry will have a scamper at the Leeds defence. This is Dobson. And Dobson is brought down by a combination of Webb and Lee Smith. But that's the last tackle here for Rovers.
Got to get some height on this one.
They're running it as well out wide. Wellen. Oh, and the ball went behind Peter Fox, the winger.
Well, he's not having a good end of the season, this fella. We mentioned last week against Wakefield, he has this awful habit of overrunning his centre. A good quality winger has got to learn to stand behind the centre. There was no chance he was going to get that ball.
Chris Wellen with the pass, looking for his winger Peter Fox, who actually has got 5 tries in his last 5 games. Here is Brent Webb, he's away from 2. Can't get away from Vella, though.
Vella and Fisher cleaned him off. He did well to hang on to it. Held onto the ball with one hand, still having.
And a big smile on his face as he plays it as well. Here is Luluai. 10 minutes of the playoffs are gone. Leeds are ahead by 4 points to 0. The Engage Super League playoffs 2009 are underway. All roads now lead to Old Trafford on October the 10th. St Huddersfield this Saturday night at 6, Sky Sports 2 HD2, followed quickly by Wakefield Catalan at 8, same channels. Wigan Castleford Sunday at 7. All 4 of the opening rounds live here on Sky Sports.
And it's going to be a tough road, isn't it? It's not going to be easy for any of these sides.
Scott Wielden for Hull KR. We'll play the ball here to Fisher. Dobson, Newton finds Chev Walker. Walker has got Senior on his back and down he goes. Oh, and there's a problem here for Chev Walker, and Keith Senior knows immediately there's a problem. He has signalled for the trainers to come quickly on the field. This is white hot, this match, this intensity, this playoff series, but there is such respect for the players amongst each other. They know when there's a problem.
There's some padding. Don't tell me this is his bone.
It's breaking up a bit.
That has gone right underneath. Now, when he comes up, it's the padding that points out. Oh, he's in all sorts of trouble there.
I think that is the most awful fracture that we have probably seen on Sky Sports for a long, long time.
Well, is that the bone, Eddie, or is it just the padding?
Steve-O, we need medical advice on that, but it looks very much like it's a compound fracture of the leg.
Shocking.
But immediately Keith Senior knew he was in trouble, and he just signalled and waved frantically to get the medical team on. I mean, John, it's a rough, tough game. Accidents happen, but there is great respect between all the players for each other.
There is, yes, and you know, Keith acted exactly right. And I think the reaction of Michael Dobson indicated what a serious injury it was. He looked at Chev and he walked straight away, you know, so it really is, and he's looking after in the best possible way, which he will get. The stringent sort of criteria to meet for on-field treatment of the players, and obviously all the trained physios and doctors have to meet that, and they'll be out there making sure that Chev receives the best possible treatment.
And you know him as well as anybody, John. In your England days as England coach in 2000, you gave him his debut in the World Cup.
Yeah, he was 16 years of age then, so a very young man at that point in time, and he's obviously a very illustrious career with Leeds Rhinos, and he ventured into rugby union and he's returned to Hull Kingston Rovers.
I think probably one of the things, Eddie, the fact that he is such a strong player. He was carrying Keith Senior on his back, and I suppose maybe the added weight of Senior on his back and the forces going through his knees and ankles, and then the twisting and turning as well that took place as the tackle was coming to an end, is perhaps what caused what does look to be such a serious injury. And it came at a very interesting point in the game. Hull Kingston Rovers have withstood, it was almost hellfire really from the Leeds Rhinos in that opening 10-minute period. They threw everything at them. They were playing with width, pace and precision with what they did. And Hull Kingston Rovers did well to pretty much hang on. 4 points to 0 isn't a bad start when you consider how dangerous Leeds looked in the opening 10 minutes.
Well, the Hull Kingston Rovers players are in a group on the centre spot. They're just being talked to by Clint Newton, who is one of the most experienced members of this Rovers side, and they're leaving the medical team to do their work for Chev Walker. This will either have a galvanising effect. This is the reaction just seconds after he got up. Keith Senior, after having made that tackle, he knew the problems that Chev Walker had, and well, there's a concerned face on the coach as well, Justin Morgan. It's been the most awful build-up to this playoff match for Hull KR. So many injuries, and now this one on top of it. And their bid for Old Trafford is just coming unhinged at the moment. But as I say, Steve-O, this could have such a galvanising effect on the players who are still out there.
Yeah, and you could see there, as you mentioned, Clint Newton, experienced, the Australian, got all the players around him and said, listen, we have to dig deep now. We really have to talk to each other and work hard. They know they've got the quality. Got the speed there in Peter Fox, as we mentioned. Chris Wellham, very handy centre indeed.
Well, it's the worst possible sight. The worst possible sight. And Chev Walker, as he got on the stretcher, he clapped the Leeds supporters for applauding him as he makes his way off the field on a stretcher. But it'll be very difficult for Rovers for the next 5 minutes or so just to keep their minds focused on the job in hand, having seen that unfold in front of them. But here we go again. Here is Scott Wheeldon. Then get carted off the field on a stretcher, and the players of both sides just say, right, let's get back down to business, and they try and put all that to the back of their mind. Brave athletes, these.
And not a bad kick either there from Michael Dobson. And he realises now that he's even got more pressure on his shoulders. Such a talented player. And that is a very good kick into the corner, trying to force the error now. They try to muscle up. The one thing that has been lacking from the Rovers over the past fortnight has been the coordination, the ability to talk to each other.
Senior gets the ball wide to Smith. He finds Scott Donald. Scott Donald taking on Peter Fox on the outside. Fox this time up to the challenge. He's got Keith Senior at dummy half, and he does the run around with Lee Smith.
Well, they're certainly playing with a great deal of confidence, aren't they, the Leeds Rhinos there, and even from a scrum 10 metres away from their own line, they move the ball to the wing, and then Keith Senior's doing a run round 30 metres away from his line. So they really are ready to play a game of player football tonight.
Sinfield to Burrow, thinks about the long pass, finds Ryan Hall. There's space ahead of Hall. He comes back on the inside, away from Newton, away from Stanley Jean. But Stanley Jean and Ben Fisher, they get him at the second attempt. 4 tackles gone. This is Burrow. Leeds are looking very busy. They're very active. They want to play the ball very quickly tonight.
And they're not frightened to run across the face of the Rovers' defence.
Move! Hold, stand.
Last tackle. Burrow, left-footed, hoists the kick. One for Jamie Jones-Buchanan to chase. Fitzhenry gets to it. He was half stopped by Brent Webb, fully finished off by Jamie Jones-Buchanan. And championship elimination playoff match taking place tonight. Widnes 6 up against Featherstone. Barrow, we saw, of course, getting to the grand final last night. Widnes will travel to Halifax if they win that. Featherstone will travel to Halifax if they win. It's next Thursday, that match. Halifax against either Widnes or Featherstone, and it's live, of course, next Thursday on Sky Sports on 2 at 7:30.
Well, Kingston Rovers in possession and working their way out to the left-hand side of the field. It's interesting who they're going to play at the right centre position now. Chev Walker's gone, and amazingly it appears that Michael Vella, who very often plays most of his rugby league as a prop forward, is that athletic, and the coach has that much confidence in his speed that he's actually put him out wide of the right centre.
Brent Webb flicks the ball back to Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall, 28 tries this year. He's the leading try scorer after the weekly rounds in Super League. Burrow disappears under Vella. Here is Webb. Now it's Jones-Buchanan.
Hulkinson Rovers are desperate to try to slow the play the ball down. That's where they're being caught out.
Diskin, Sinfield gets the ball away to Diskin again. Here is Maguire. He goes around. Chaz Jansen. Danny Maguire. Fitzhenry to the rescue for Rovers.
Did well as well, the fullback. Wasn't going to take the dummy. Maguire dummied to nobody.
Peacock. Good defence from Fozzard and company. Last tackle. Diskin. Still Diskin. Still Matt Diskin trying to worm his way over the line. Held up by 3. Dobson, Wellham and Fisher.
Great defence there. And good work by Rovers. It had to be as well.
Diskin gives the ball back. That's the turnover.
Well, that really will lift the spirits of the coach, Justin Morgan.
Big hit then by Peacock on Nick Fozzard.
It was always going to be a big battle, that, wasn't it?
Stanley Jean, Widnes 12 up now after a quarter round against Featherstone.
Well, this whole Kingston Rovers outfit, they really have been under the caution. You've got to admire the character and resolve to be just 4 points down 15 minutes into this game when the Leeds Rhinos have come out in absolutely white-hot form.
Ablett doing the tackling on Chaz Jansen with Matt Diskin. Let's give a mention, I think, to Matt Diskin. His form this season in the absence of Danny Badiris for such a length of time in 2009 has been absolutely sensational. Dobson with the kick right down the middle, straight down the throat of Scott Donald. Donald will run the ball back. Dobson gets to him but misses him. Wheeldon doesn't. Neither does Paul Cook.
And again, it's a big problem. They are so far in their own half when they launch the kick on the last tackle. And it's allowing the Rhinos to take control of this game at the moment.
Here's Luluai. Gets them over the halfway line on tackle number 3, but only just over halfway. Diskin. Sinfield gets the ball away to Ablett. Playing it with such pace, Leeds, aren't they?
Certainly are, and they're mixing it up as well because they're going on a long ball, missing people out. They're also using that short, flat pass. That's a beautiful kick. Oh, was he taken out? No, says the official.
So Fitzhenry will run it back for Hull KR.
Good work by the touch judge on the far side. Nothing wrong with it.
No, he doesn't have to get out of the way, the defender.
And they were both facing the same way, so you can utilise the shoulder. And that's what Chris Wellham did.
Peter Fox plays the ball. That was Dobson. This is Vella. He gets away from Ryan Hall.
Great footwork there by the big fella as well.
Captain of Hull Kingston Rovers, Mick Vella, 12th start in a row, as I say, missed 6 earlier this year, 6 in a row. He only played half of the season for Rovers in 2009. He's a vital cog in Justin Morgan's plans.
Kicking early.
The kick from Dobson. Good kick too. It will mean that Webb will have to run it away from his own in-goal area.
That was smart tactics as well.
Kevin Walters, the Catalan Dragons coach, in town. Penalty here, meanwhile, for Hull KR for a bit of retaliation off the ball. So we've got the Wakefield coach up here, we've got the Catalan coach over there who are taking in the Yorkshire air. Bit of a punch by Brent Webb on Stanley Jean.
Stupid play by the fullback Webb.
First penalty of the match.
He was high, but it wasn't seen by the referee. You don't take the matters in your own hands, or one hand in that occasion.
There's nothing, but I'll
give him some advice, Steve, on Brent Webb. Don't do it.
Oh, now then, has he gone for his, he's gone for his face. Now then, on that different angle. Stanley Jean.
It's giving his side possession for the first time here. You can see the right hand does go on his face. That might get looked at a later date.
Well, it should do.
But Hull Kingston Rovers, a quarter of the game away into this game here. They're going to get possession, and it's at this time they have to score when they get close to the opponent's line. They've got there illegally, in our opinion. But they've got possession. They've got possession, and they will have to score in these type of situations.
I'm with you, Clarkie, in the fact that that certainly needs to be looked at. I'm sure it will be.
Here is Stanley Jean, will take it in first up. That's the first one. 9 metres away they are. Hull Kingston Rovers on the attack with Dobson. He finds Fitzhenry. Good ball to Vella. Vella trying to go outside Rob Burrow. Helped out by Ryan Hall and Jamie Jones. Vella is brought to ground. Fitzhenry again. Fires the pass to Dobson. That's Fozzard. There's nowhere for him to go. Peacock was all over him.
Smothering defence. Pretty good there as well.
Fisher. Dobson. Here is Cook. Short ball to Stanley Jean. Important tackle by Danny Maguire. Fisher. Dobson. Slides the kick in. And the ball grounded in the in goal area by Brent Webb.
Good pressure there by the Rovers. He'll be happy with that, Justin Morgan. First real opportunity. 17 minutes into this game, that's when they got into the first opportunity to get the ball. Now they've got to return. They'll get another set of 6. Good position by the fellow Brent Webb. It had to be as well. Who had quite a lot of talking to do to Mr. Stanley Jean when he took up the first run.
Goal line dropout will reach halfway. Mike Dobson is underneath it. Here comes Nick Fozzard to run the ball back. Thing is, John, the longer this scoreline stays at 4-0 in Leeds' favour, so the Hull Kingston Rovers' confidence grows.
It certainly does, and I thought that previous set of 6 was excellent. They asked questions either side of the field, and it was finished with a real good pressure kick, which obviously resulted in this repeat set of 6.
And it's now with Dobson, who has a short ball to Clint Newton. He goes down on the third tackle. Fisher waits at dummy half. Dobson in the dream team. And this is Reese Lovegrove. 1-year extension. He'll be at Creighton Park next year, Reese Lovegrove. Fisher to Fitzhenry. He probably won't be. That's the last tackle.
Another dink into the in-goal area. Try to get another set of 6.
Well, they'll try and increase the pressure, but Dobson goes to the air. And it's going to increase the pressure because Lee Smith came up with the error. This is better than a goal line dropout.
It certainly is, and to be fair, he went for it. No one impeded him. Cook certainly went for the football, not the man. And in fact, Cook got an elbow right in the face there from Lee Smith. Watch this, crash. Unintentional, but he would have felt that, Cook.
So a great opportunity for Rovers here with Dobson. Dobson finds Fitzhenry. Oh, Fitzhenry trying to go on his own. Fitzhenry is going on his own. Wonderful effort. Fantastic try.
They'll give this. He's bounced over. The momentum's got him over.
The question now that's being asked of tonight's video referee Richard Silverwood is whether it is a double movement or not. But Daniel Fitzhenry, the try-scoring winger in the 2005 Grand Final for Wests, now then.
Oh, it's a difficult one there.
Does he propel that ball forward, or is it momentum?
Oh, there's just a move. There's just a movement. I think he moves it at the last moment. It's going to be very, very difficult.
I think it's a try, Eddie.
He's certainly bounced over, but as he moved the elbow, he's got to wait and look for it. He deserved a try. Twinkle toes.
Well, the Hull Kingston Rovers fans are all straining their necks to see the big screen that's immediately behind them. And the try is given. Daniel Fitzhenry levels the scores here at Headingley. Only his 6th try of 2009. Out of contract at the end of this year. A record 43 tries for West Tigers in 5 years between 2002 and 2007. I bet he hasn't scored many more priceless than this.
And again, another error coming up on this occasion, Lee Smith. And it's all turned around since that little bit of a fracas between Brent Webb and Stanley Jean. But this is quality. Oh, tiptoe through the tulips. Thank you very much indeed. Nothing short of sensational, and it has got the Rovers to take the lead. Surely Dobson will add the extras.
Well, Dobson, he's Super League's top point scorer. We've got the top point scorer here. We've got Kevin Sinfield, the top goal kicker, on the other side. But Dobson here doesn't miss these. And Hull KR hold a 6-4 advantage at Headingley in the opening night of the playoffs.
And fully deserved, Eddie, mainly due to the fact that they applied the pressure, and a beautiful sidestepping from this fella, the fullback Daniel Fitzhenry. They held off the Leeds. What's he going to do? Oh, that was superb, wasn't it? And Brian McLennan, the Rhinos coach, he has to send the message out to Brent Webb and say, look, okay, you were given a bit of a mauling in the tackle, but you should not have retaliated. He's not happy, and he's every right to be upset by it all, because ever since that little bit of a push and a shove from that penalty, the Rovers have taken control and got back into this game.
And some players know that their job is to feed the speed. And Michael Dobson knew he had to get the ball to one of his quicker players, that being Daniel Fitzhenry. Some speed and a bit of evasion was a way that they got over the line. It'll be hard for them to do it. That's a great effort. When they get close to the opponent's line, if it's possible, they need points. And I'll tell you what, with the support they've got here tonight, I think that's an extra man on the field.
It is. They have travelled in great numbers, the Rovers fans, from New Craven Park to Headingley. And their team is leading the champions after 22.5 minutes of this, their first ever appearance in the Super League playoffs.
And isn't it amazing that they kept faith, Eddie, mainly due to the fact, again, they've gone early on the 4th tackle. They were so bitterly disappointed last week against Wakefield. They really didn't show up on that particular occasion. They looked a little bit sloppy, but boy. And you cast your mind back to that when Chev Walker was being attended to and taken off. Clint Newton got all the players around and said, hey, come on, let's get back into it. Now we've got a great game on our hands.
We have LKR suddenly are very much in this contest. It's Senior, it's good hands, it's Burrow who finds big Ali Lautiti. Oh, what a destructive force Lautiti can be. Webb, oh, too elaborate. Far too elaborate by Brent Webb.
Why didn't he just keep hold of it, get possession, and then launch the attack? Wonderful stuff from Lautiti. But he really should have looked to see what about the heavy traffic that was coming through.
It's a penalty here, by the way. It's not a scrum. Some dissent has been shown to Steve Ganson.
Okay. You know, it's a problem that went through this Leeds outfit midway through this season. And Brian McLennan got rid of it as we come into the end of the, or should we say the business end in the playoffs, the build-up to it. They've been very, very good indeed. But Maguire has a word to say to Steve Ganson, and I can assure you, nobody has a word to Mr. Ganson.
Fitzhenry to Cook. Here is Stanley Jean. Leeds haven't received a penalty yet. Hull KR have had just the 2. Fisher, Dobson, Clint Newton.
You know, the tactic of Michael Dobson going early in the tackle count to get the kick downfield has really worked for them.
Here's Jason Netherton, LKR's longest serving player. His development began in the Leeds Academy. Netherton, as Cook drills a lovely kick down the line. Fox is after this. Oh, and Webb had to flick that over, didn't he?
Just check that it was up and down by Brent Webb.
I think Webb has flicked that dead, and the referee, Steve Ganson's asking Richard Silverwood just to have a look for him, just to check.
Yep.
No problem.
It's a drop out. No problem. And he did right there, Steve Ganson. He was a fair way back, as you can see. Good pressure by Peter Fox.
Well, 10 minutes of sheer Leeds pressure. They could have been 12-0 up. As it is, they were only 4 up, and Hull Kingston Rovers have come back up off the canvas, John.
Magnificent, isn't it? And that's a great piece of skill from Paul Cook, waiting the kick. But what about Peter Fox? The chase there, really enthusiastic, and then a big header from the Rhinos.
Out on the fall.
Yeah. Will he take the 2?
Penalty bang in front.
Well, I would, because they'll get the ball from the kick-off, but it looks as though they may go for the tap instead. Cook's calling out the orders. No, they're going for the 2. And I think that's the right thing to do as well.
Well, in a playoff, you take everything that's offered, don't you?
Yep.
Well, you do underneath the post, Eddie, because that's a gimme to that one. If it was out on the sidelines or 40 metres out, you might think again, but that really is a gimme. And poor skill by the Rhinos, and the reward for that pressure from Hull Kingston Rovers will be 2 points.
You could see what Zinfi was trying to achieve, couldn't he? He was trying to get the ball out with the bounce in the right side of the whitewash. He then would have got the head and feet at the scrum.
Was it over-ambitious? And again, a little bit like their attacking play through Lower TT in here. I so admire Leeds' skill and the fact that they want to demonstrate that, practicing so hard with it. But this may be, at this stage of the match, over-ambitious with 2 players guarding that sideline.
You're spot on, Phil, because the fact is, the ploy for Leeds tonight was to blow Rovers off the park in the opening 20 minutes. Really just blitz them, and let's face it, from what we have seen in the opening 10-15 minutes, the Rhinos were absolutely wonderful, and then they've gone into a slump. Panic has set in, and even more so when it pops this over.
Yes, Dobson bang in front, and Hull Kingston Rovers hold a 4-point advantage over the champions. It's 8-4 to Rovers, and remarkably, you know, the tragic injury to Chev Walker has galvanised Hull KR and has sickened Leeds Rhinos to the core.
I think the turning point in the game wasn't the injury to Chev Walker, but it was the incident between Stanley Jean and Brent Webb, and that seems to be the turning point, because until that point, Hull Kingston Rovers hadn't been able to get possession anywhere near Leeds try line, which is essential for them if they want to score and win this match. That was the turning point in the first half, and Leeds haven't quite recovered from it.
Bill's been keeping his eye on everything that's happening off the pitch. Bill?
Yes, been busy in the medical room here, as you can imagine, because it is a shin break for Chev Walker, the left shin that has gone, the tibia, and it's a serious break, and he's just left the stadium complex, in actual fact, in an ambulance heading for the local hospital, and there were some pretty gloomy faces on the sidelines among the Hull Kingston Rovers contingent. Teammate Jason Netherton actually went back to the medical room to check on his fitness, but I think, as you said, Eddie, that it's going to galvanise it. They were up against it before the game started with the absentees, Briscoe, Galea, and then Scott Morrell at the last minute, and this Chev Walker injury, I think, is just going to bond them together even tighter.
Indeed, in the way it's going at 8-4, Rovers supporters, not only here at the stadium, but watching back at home, would be saying, well, if it's going like this with all the problems that we have had, when we get the unfit players back out on the field.
And another great kick from Michael Dobson. You know, a lot of people wonder why on earth a team kicks early in the tackle count. Well, obviously, most teams defending, they wait until the very last for their 2 wingers to drop back. And what they've actually done is that it leaves Brent Webb out on his own, all alone on his own.
Well, ball at Widnes and Featherstone. The big prize there, of course, is the trip to Halifax on Thursday in the Championship playoff. Here, the big prize is for the winners next week off. Then the winners will come back in week 3 of the playoffs. And if it's Leeds who would make it to week 3 of the playoffs after this, they would get the club call. They would get the choice. But at the moment, it's Hull KR who have rocked everything to its foundations.
Well, Brian McLennan's got to get the message out to Leeds and say, listen, come on, let's go through some hard work. Look, they're confused. It's on the last tackle.
Kick down the line.
He's turned out well in the end, but they've got to have a leader out there, and he knows it, does Brian McLennan.
Brian McLennan knows that Leeds have got problems.
Well, they were disorganised there. They're panicking slightly. There's Ablett saying, hey, come on, get back into it. He's got a lot to sort out, especially at half-time.
It's a tremendous performance thus far from Rovers. It really is. 8-4 they lead. 4th in the table. In Super League, magnificent home and away wins against St Helens. But they have lost the ball here. And senior for the Rhinos.
Well, Wellham claiming that it's been reefed out, but he just lost it.
Great chance for Peacock then, and drives it in, but Fisher low down. Jean over the top. Diskin. Ryan Bailey back to Diskin. And Diskin saw a gap and went for it. And Hull, Kingston Rovers claw him to the ground. Netherton and Cook. Sinfield, ball to Peacock. Great tackle that was. Tremendous tackle. Here is Burrow. Burrow to Lauatiti. Lauatiti gets it away to Webb, and Webb will score.
Super pass.
What a ball from Ali Lauatiti. As he was falling, he just looked behind him and saw his New Zealand colleague within about 2 or 3 metres and literally plunked the ball on a plate for him. And Brent Webb over for the try, and the score's a level here at Headingley.
That was sheer quality. And if ever a side needed something to lift their spirits, it's a try here from the fullback, Brent Webb. This is the moment that Wellham lost the football. Oh, was it a fingertip there by the man that's created it, Ali Lauatiti? I think you might find that it is. Oh, this is superb. Top class, world class in fact. Spins into the tackle. Anybody there? Yeah, Mr. Webb. Game's on, and they're relieved because they know they were under the cosh. They needed something, and they've got it, courtesy of this man.
6 tries in his last 4 matches. Brent Webb, a try in the 24-14 win against Hull KR here in July. And Brent Webb missed last year's grand final, of course, with injury. He's keener than most. Sinfield does what he has done all year. He missed with his first, he's safe with the second, and the Rhinos are ahead by 10 points to 8.
Just came out of the line a little bit too early, and it left an open gap for this fella. There you see Newton has just gone out of it, and as soon as Webb goes round the outside, there is the pass, and there is the touchdown.
Well, they're delighted, the youngsters.
And that, Steve-O, is exactly where Chef Walker would have been defending. That mixer, Michael Villa had gone infield, Clint Newton had come out to defend in the centre, and it was that area where he just came out of the line, and Ali Lauatiti's skill put Brent Webb over.
Peacock pouring the ball forward for the Leeds Rhinos. Now it's Diskin, here is Lauatiti again. They know the threat of Lauatiti. If they didn't before, they do now.
Well, with that 2-point lead, they can feel not only confident, but realise that they do not have to chase the game. They can get back to basics, get the big forwards lumbering over the advantage line. And that looks like what they've done. Peacock, looking again.
Looking to offload at every opportunity, the Rhinos, but Diskin to Sinfield, there was nowhere for him to go there. This is the last tackle. Diskin will give it to Maguire. Maguire with a kick that is straight into the arms of Daniel Fitzhenry. They'll come back again. They know that they've suffered home and away defeats to both Huddersfield and Leeds. Their other top 4 contenders this year, the Rovers, although they have beaten Saints twice, home and away, as I said earlier on.
We've just seen what a great engine that Jamie Peacock's got. You know, he's played for 33 minutes. You've just taken him off for a rest, and Kyle Lewis replaces him. But in this day, very few prop forwards will play for that length of time and at such pace in the playoffs. He's done it well. He's never been replaced by number 8 Lulai. He wants to take him into half-time clearly with this lead.
Featherstone Rovers have hit back against Widnes. Jamie Peacock, meanwhile, is sitting it out up to half-time. Oh, Stanley Jean went without it. Knock on.
Yeah, he's playing and it was reefed out. But I think you'll find that it's gone into the tackle with a ball-carrying arm. You're always going to run the risk, and you do that. It does surprise me time and time again.
Diskin might have reefed it, but it was one-on-one, the ball going backwards anyway. But Stanley's still chunnering on about the fact that he has been hard done by.
Now will we see a special from Maguire, his opposite Cook?
This is Maguire. Gets the ball away. No, Lee Smith puts it down on the first tackle. Here comes Hull Rovers in response with Wellham. And Wellham spun to the ground eventually by Sinfield. They're trying to score on every play, Leeds.
Yep, it's panic again. We thought that they'd given it away and got back to basics, but I'm afraid they haven't.
Newton goes wide to Liam Colborne. Colborne halted. That's only the first tackle, though. Look where they are, Rovers. 20 metres away from the line. Fitzhenry to Dobson to Netherton. Diskin in very quickly.
That really is a coach killer, isn't it? Brian McLennan. He must be so nervous in the stands there.
Here's Dobson. This is Vella. That's good defence from Leeds. Little Rob Burrow like a terrier around Mick Vella's legs. Fisher again now, and he finds Dobson. Dobson to Cook. Ablett tried to get to him. Ball goes over the shoulder, and Wellham does well. He turns it into a decent pass. Here is Cook again. Oh, they've got away with this, Rovers. Fisher. Will play it to Dobson. Fitzhenry is there. Dobson though with a chip to the corner, looking for Liam Colborne, and it goes over the top of him and finds touch.
Not a bad option, but just a little bit too strong in the end. And that really is the first bad kick that we've seen from Dobson in the past 20 minutes or so. Nothing that Colborne could do about it. But as you say, Eddie, the confidence has been building in it, and Leeds trying to get away. There was a mistake, the pass from Lee Smith. Did well though, Chris Wellham. He'll be trying his best. Remember, he was the one that lost possession, that allowed the chance for Laotichi to send in Webb.
This is Lee Smith, who dropped the ball on the first tackle. Last move for the Rhinos. Here now is Webb. Fisher won't let him past. Good contest, isn't it? Opening round of the playoffs. Injury hit Hull KR, and they're giving champions a real run for their money here.
Well, I posed a question before the kickoff, Eddie, and I said, will they lift their game? Well, they certainly have.
Let's get straight down to Bill.
Big moment coming up for Scott Taylor on the sidelines for Hull Kingston Rovers, this 18-year-old who has been really brought into the fray because of the injuries that they've got at Rovers. And the youngster from Beverley just waiting his chance on the sidelines to come on in the last few minutes of this first half, and it'll be a big moment for him. What a moment as well. Make your debut in a playoff tie with the game as evenly balanced as this. He's on the field now, replacing Stanley Jean.
Yes, Scott Taylor on his debut. Latest youngster earmarked by Justin Morgan for a big future. Here is Fox, meanwhile. There he is. Scott Taylor. Here goes Clint Newton.
Wonderful run there. Took it on the blind side.
Hold. Well done,
Fitzhenry at dummy half. And the kick. Looking for a 40-20 there, Chaz Jansen. He went straight down the middle though.
And again
skips away from Webb. Webb has to collect it right on his goal line. Look at the chase from Rovers. Tremendous stuff.
Certainly is, and they're clicking together. They're realising that they're going on the fourth, not waiting till the final one. They've upped the tempo, and the defence is absolutely superb.
Here goes Senior. Not too far forward though. Sinfield. Down the short side to Lee Smith.
Hold. Go.
Sinfield. Jamie Jones Buchanan.
And it's obvious Leeds quite happy to kick and chase on this one. They'll want to get into the sheds at half-time just to sort a few things out.
Burrow's gone for a big kick downfield of 40-20 if it found the touchline, but Fitzhenry saw to it there was no chance of that. Plays the ball inside to Liam Colborn. And here goes Peter Fox, and Peter Fox can move. Peter Fox has got support with him both ways.
Oh, he's run out of numbers.
That's an obstruction. He went round the back of Michael
He
Bell.
should have passed earlier.
Well, what an opportunity for Peter Fox. There's a bit of feeling between Peter Fox and some of the Leeds players.
It's a playoff setting. There's feeling amongst every single player.
No, well, he was part of the Leeds junior setup originally, Peter Fox. But look at this run from him again.
There's a massive gap there. Just couldn't get to him. Jamie Jones-Buchanan left a huge hole, and then there was numbers, and he's just blown it completely.
Michael Dobson giving him the rounds of the kitchen as well. Lautiti to Bailey. Into the last minute. Lautiti waits the dummy half. He gives it to Burrow. And Burrow, a couple of dummies there, but Rovers' defence would not be fooled by that.
Well, they'll probably get away one more, play the ball, and then they'll opt for the kick, perhaps.
Ablett still. Down he goes. Got them all over him. Maguire wants to get on with it. Here is Sinfield. This is Kari Luluwai.
They'll look forward as well.
They're underneath the sticks. They've got 15 seconds remaining. Sinfield slides the kick in. And it's looked after by the defence. There won't be time to take the goal line drop out. They'll turn round at 10 points to 8.
Well, Sinfield was the only one that knew that it was going to go the kick. I'm not so sure. They were screaming for the ball out wide, and there you see the arms raised. Dobson looking and saying a few things to Mr. Fox. Golden opportunity blown on either occasion, and there Kevin Sinfield, he put the kick through, and Danny Maguire was screaming and saying, we wanted it out wide.
Well, the referee has stopped the clock with 1 second on it.
So you've got to make sure you don't kick this to somebody who can land a drop goal from about 40 metres. They put it on the side here.
Now then, what will Leeds do?
Lee Smith's got the distance. No, not under that much pressure.
Well, he's had to go for it, Lee Smith. He's had to go for it, Lee Smith. Ooh, just the wrong side of the post. Well, Leeds know they're in a battle. Lee Smith's drop goal attempt after the siren, just going the wrong side of the posts. 10 points to 8 Leeds. Rhinos are ahead. Steve Ganson holding up the play for just 1 second in that first half. Everybody else would have said, well, let's turn round 10-8 and leave it at that.